Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another round of Arbitration Studios as we continue our journey across the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And since we're now doing the characters and their daddy issues throughout all of this, we are now entering into Daddy didn't tell me what I needed to do to become a man. And with that, so to recap, here we are. We were supposed to recruit Warlord Okeer. I imagine that he was supposed to be kind of like not an assistant to Morden, but a peer to Morden. Like, that was the plan for the Elusive Man.
Yeah, I think to augment, a multi-discipline approach to the problem. Okeer being more of like a brute biologist, more of a dealing with cloning, dealing with all of that kind of stuff. Peers, yes, but in different disciplines. Colleagues, yeah. And in overlapping and different approaches to science. Okeer being what appears to be much more focused on biology and...
I mean, call it what it is. He's the more unpleasant scientist type, the ends justify the means type.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that we should have gotten Okeer instead of Grunt here. It's more like, what were the fictional implications? Why was Okeer wanted? That's what I've been curious about, because Grunt is the only character in our crew, aside from Legion, who is a true wildcard.
Yeah.
But what did we get? We got a weapon of mass destruction.
And that, for me...
Or in your case, a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah,
but...
yes. Yeah, there it is. My love of Krogan. So for me, anyways, with Grunt, Grunt is so kind of everybody in the party, with the exception of Garrus, Archangel, is like you don't really have no pure warriors. Mm-hmm. Even Garrus is kind of more of a long range sniper type.
I would argue that the Knights of the Old Republic, another BioWare game actually, had this great line regarding that. Between the Mandalorian, whose name I forget, and Karth Onasi, whose name I can unfortunately never forget. But Karth actually had this great slap back to him when the Mandalorian character you recruit says, "A warrior like yourself, blah blah," and Karth says, "Let's get one thing straight. I'm a soldier, and a soldier's job is to protect common people from warriors." Yeah. Garrus is a soldier.
I will concede that point. I think you are correct.
I will.
That is accurate.
And to interrupt you real quick, this whole untanking and, for want of a better way to put it, Grunt Rising thing is just an absolutely well choreographed moment.
It is. It's well choreographed. It's well executed. I think that it is testament to...
They make it look so massive at first.
It is testament to EA's attention to detail and attention to characterization in that they did this and that they did it in this way. Instead of just, jumping into, okay, Grunt is Grunt. And
well, there are two ways to do a character like this, and the first one is what they did, which is, I'm out. The drugs that have kept me sedated have worn off, and I immediately spring into action. Option B is, like you said, and I like to equate it to when 7 of 9 appeared in Star Trek Voyager, where she stepped out of her tube and then just announced who she was and her intention, and then went about her job, and then became the most beloved character in modern Star Trek.
No question. And just like 7 of 9, I absolutely find Grunt attractive. But anyways,
what? Oh. Okay, let's get it out here. What is it with you and Krogan?
The violence.
Okay.
The sheer unmitigated violence. The will to survive. And really it's interesting with the Krogan. The three Krogan in the series that you call your own, that are on your party. And I don't care what anybody says, I do in fact consider Andromeda part of the Mass Effect series.
I do like that apparently there's a little bit of warming up to Mass Effect Andromeda in the aftermath. Now that we're approaching at least 5 years on.
Yeah. So for me, in this, with the three Krogan that you end up with, they're loyal.
Mm-hmm.
They are. Sometimes they're the only ones having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. That's.
So. And I like the characterization of the Krogan.
Mm-hmm.
Guesswork about strength.
Well,
power.
and they're three completely different types of people.
Mm.
Drac being the oldest was a survivor of the Arachnite Wars, and he's old and broken. He knows he has one more good fight left in him, one more climax of Avengers Endgame fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he just and frankly, he's looking for it.
Yeah. And I love that.
Zaid is kind of like that to a certain extent, but neither here nor there. As far as that, we've already covered Zaid.
I also think that Drac has the grandfather thing.
Yeah.
He has that grandfather thing, and he's not as much a jerk as Rex can be to the other companions.
Rex is, and this is something I've personally been relating to a lot more, Rex is the guy who's given up on his species but has been thrust into a position through the course of this trilogy where he can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that real turning point for him was knowing that the genophage actually could be cured.
Right.
Because it's entirely feasible that when you're mucking with people's genes and hormone levels and base biology, that you can't reverse it.
Right.
But, so one, the genophage could be cured, and two, the idea that means that there's a possibility for the people that he gave up on.
Mm-hmm.
But now he needs to spread the word of that there is hope. Because he's not unique in the fact that no one believes that.
Right.
So, and then Grunt has every reason in the universe to be arrogant. He has that earned arrogance. And it starts off with the fact that he is bred to be the perfect Krogan.
And indeed he is. Although he'll never take the place in my heart of Rex.
Well, you just like him older.
I do. It's true, which is why Drax is I like Drax too.
But yeah, it starts off with who he is, and then as you go through the events of this game and the next game, that arrogance becomes earned.
Yeah.
It becomes I'm not great because of who I am. I'm great because of what I can do. And what I have done.
I think also a little bit for me, as you asked, Rex gives me Gowron, or not Gowron, but
Martok?
Martok vibes. He gives me Martok vibes. In the he himself is an honorable person, and a loyal person, and he's thrust into the leadership of a people who have maybe slipped away from that ideal. Maybe don't really reach his own ideal of what his people should be. So I kind of like that about Rex. And
Right here, the whole I hate Turians thing, and you know what? First thing I do is don't fuck with Garrus. But I do like this. I don't hate Garrus. Garrus is just one Turian. I hate Turians.
yeah,
It's you know, I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm justifying racism and bad behavior, but it's sort of the that's kind of how it works. Is that the idea of racism is so impersonal.
so for me, the way I look at it is I really, really dislike people.
Uh-huh.
But persons are okay. Like people in a mass, people in I'm not a fan of, but individually, I'm pretty cool with. I'm pretty down with.
It's sort of that I talked about this with my dad recently about a business trip, and it's like you don't understand. Yes, when I go on stage to give presentations, or if I'm playing a character, but generally I don't want to go outside. That's where the people are.
Exactly, exactly, and ultimately, I think that feeling is why video games were invented, so that we can have fun. You know, it's so funny. I'm looking at the artwork on this, and of course, I think that they did such an amazing job with the Krogan, because the Krogan are a fantasy species. The Krogan, we don't know. You know, this is what they're supposed to look like because that is what they look like.
I did ask this question earlier, by the way. Speaking of art, of whether or not the Krogan are prey species or predator species. They're actually prey species.
Yeah.
Because eyes on the side of their head, and if you look, their teeth are flat. So anyway, we're gonna go down to Tuchanka, and this is going to be also our Tuchanka environment video, because really there's not much to do here.
Yeah, they much like with Dragon Age 2, they kind of like threw away the idea of making a mock open world game, which I kind of like. I open world games to me are great if the game is supposed to be an open world game. If it's designed, you know, if the whole idea of it is to be an open world game. To take a game and make it open world when it doesn't need to be.
This is my problem, actually, with the Star Wars Jedi Survivor game, and it was to a certain extent that way with the first Jedi game, where I appreciate the open worldness, and certainly one of the worlds, which is your hub world and is larger than the others, could be for all the treasure hunting and whatnot, but every single planet is a large open world, and it's empty, just so you can go all over God's green earth or brown in the case of the desert planet, in order to find shit, and it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
When all I need is a series of tight levels with a small interconnecting hub. And that's what we have here is we have 3 interconnecting hubs and the Normandy. That's all we need.
Right. And I liked the change, really. I know a lot of people missed the being able to explore planets openly. You know, just being able to drive around in the Mako and climb mountains with it, which I admit I enjoy as well. But this having a tight
we missed a really good joke, by the way.
Oh, did we now?
We missed the fact Grunt's basically going through puberty, and Garrus said, "Oh, can't we just go to Omega and buy him a stripper?"
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's look. I think that's a perfectly reasonable question. Unfortunately, apparently, Krogan have Ponfar. They have to go through a specific cultural.
Every so
thing.
years, they need to kill something really big or enough things so the bodies pile up and be big enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is the what has become of the species. You know, you asked what whether they were a prey species or a hunter species. I kind of always thought that they were crocodilian, in the sense of they were a ambush.
Well, that still makes them a predator species, but all the biological markers kind of indicate more that they're more prey species in origin. So,
But here we have a guest appearance. Well, we had a guest appearance earlier on.
speaking of Star Trek and Klingons,
exactly. If people recognize it, Michael Dorn stepped in and did.
Who's been in a lot of video games, actually.
Indeed, he has a fantastic voice for it. He really does. He has a wonderful voice for it, and as a performer, it's great. You come in, you do a little bit, you get your money. It's a nice little, it's a nice chunk of change. It's he might get residuals from the game or what have you. I don't know what his deal was, but it's as a sci-fi fan, it's always nice to hear those voices. It's always nice to catch those little in jokes and catch those little things that happen in the kind of world of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. So anyway.
So now we're getting approval
from the shaman
to go do. I think is probably one of my favorite kind of missions.
Oh,
and
shut the fuck up, Michael Dorn.
Indeed, without a helmet.
That did more damage to her than to him.
Flat out through that.
Like if you pay attention, she even rubs her neck. Like that was a kind of a mistake, but now I gotta own it.
Right? She's going, thank goodness that all my bones have been augmented. But this is one of my favorite of the companion missions because it's so simple. It is such a simple. It is such a straightforward. There's nothing, and again, this comes back to why I like Krogan. They are a simple, straightforward. When you're dealing with Krogan in the game, as other than just the big bads that come at you, fighting you when you're dealing with them on a social level, there's except for Okir, there's no duplicity in what they do. They are a honest species.
And it's not that there isn't complex political maneuvering to it. It's just that it's very simple. It's, I say no. I think I'm tough enough to back that up with violence. Okay, prove it.
There's just a cleanness to that, There's a sort of, I don't know, honesty to it, really. Kind of the way Klingons were in Deep Space Nine.
Well,
before,
I was about to say Klingons in Deep Space Nine and in the Next Generation they were that honest, straightforward. In the original series, they were duplicitous as hell.
Ah, yes,
like Romulans would have said, "You ever tried just punching people in the face?"
Yeah,
But then again, the Klingons were supposed to be the Soviet stand-in, and the Romulans were supposed to be the Chinese stand-in because Gene Roddenberry was, despite all of his high-minded philosophy, was actually racist as fuck.
Yeah, he was a product of his time, and we say that a lot as an excuse, and it's not an excuse in this case. Well, it's merely a kind of a way to understand. Which, bringing it back to this.
And by the way, since we are basically undergoing a bar mitzvah right now, please enjoy the Hava Nagila playing as an undertone this entire time.
Yes, which is, I think, an excellent move. I think that is very, very intelligent.
Is there anything, any other way to describe what we are doing than a bar mitzvah?
It's a coming of age thing, which a bar mitzvah is. I think that Western society has kind of given up this. Not in general, because there are a couple that still do, but in overall, I think European/Western society has kind of moved away from this kind of event where you say, okay, now you are an
I wouldn't
adult.
say it's even Western society, because a lot of Eastern cultures basically have a "you're an adult, go get married now" sort of thing. But but yeah, the lack of ritualization, I would say among industrialized. That's the word you're looking for, not Western, but industrialized cultures.
Well, I would say that, except there are different cultures. Mexico comes to mind that do have ritualized events that could be considered
the quinceañera in the case of Mexican culture.
And
although that has kind of a dark undertone of it, as you're 15, you're officially ready for marriage. But
yeah, I mean, that's I think a lot of these kind of ceremonies throughout history were about that.
Yeah, I know. But the things we don't like to acknowledge.
It's true. But and again, things, do things in a way, in a kind of underhanded, dark way, as opposed to go out and fight creatures and kill and kill a bunch of monsters. That seems to me to be a little more honest. It seems there's less of a go hunt. In reality case, go hunt. Bring, kill a large creature or fish. Bring back a large sum of food for the community to partake in.
And that's a case where a lot of it in Western industrialized cultures, that's gone from the you have done the thing, you are now a man sort of thing, to this sort of private teaching moment between parent and child. And I shouldn't even say you are now a man, but it should be you are now an adult, because I mean, particularly in rural cultures where hunting was the difference between going to bed hungry or not. There's something which still exists in even America today.
Right.
Young girls had to learn how to do this too, especially if they were in a family with no sons in them.
I always hate that there's really no way to take out that giant flying thing that drops off the.
I really hate these damn
explosive things.
Yeah, that's why I hate them. Is that they're little explosive things.
I don't disagree with you on these things. They are annoying as shit. There's a little side mission with these things later on that it just annoys the hell out of me because you can't see them coming.
Which is why I'm glad that I cut out all the little side missions, because they really, some of them are fascinating and little interesting mini science fiction stories.
Yep.
But they're just so not worth.
Right. They're annoying. They annoy me. They are part of the reason why. When I do my playthroughs, because I replay old games because I'm neurodivergent, and that makes my brain happy to replay over and over again and rewatch things over and over again.
Speaking of side missions, I guess I should cut out the search and rescue stuff in Mass Effect 3, shouldn't I?
Yeah, probably.
Because that's just going on the boat.
Yeah, it depends on kind of which ones.
Well, I'm talking about the things where you're purely gathering up resources on the map, not the.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Not the multiplayer maps. The multiplayer maps, I'm thinking just put into one great big video and have that be our reflection on the trilogy video.
Yeah, that might actually be interesting. No, I mean, there's a couple of search and rescues in 3 that there's a couple of missions in 3 that I think will be interesting for us. But this one is, to bring it back to this one again. Like I said, this is probably my favorite of the companion missions because it is so short. But there is a bit coming up that. To this day, still gets my heart racing a little bit. Although, that being said, it's not, at this point, because I've done it so many times, it's not so much a... it gets my heart going at this point, not entirely...
What gets your heart going? I can't see anything.
So what's coming is... it's large, and it's frightening, and it spits goo at you.
There's so many jokes. So many jokes. Oh my god, it's hentai!
We have the tentacles coming out. But
oh my god, it's John Cena!
Oh, Jesus. This is my why my heart gets going. Not because I'm afraid of dying or losing. It's I don't want to miss out on killing it.
And that is why I brought the collector laser.
Which I agree with you. I think the collector. When I first played this, I swore by the missile launcher, but the missiles are way too slow. Right?
There's like the whole point of a missile is that these things are supposed to fly, at Mach Jesus.
At ludicrous speed.
And instead, I'm throwing something barely at fastball pace.
Right?
It's like the plasma bolts in a Star Wars movie. That's not a special Jedi trick. That's $20 in the batting cage.
Right? But yeah, that's usually why my heart rate gets up, is because I don't want to end up not killing it.
You don't want to close your eyes.
I've never not killed it. I've never, and I don't want to
miss a thing.
Yeah, ruin that.
I'm never gonna not make bad jokes.
That's why we're friends. I don't see.
Enjoy the hit scanning and the DPS.
Enjoy the spooge on your face.
Normally I'm not on the receiving end of that.
I really don't like monsters that spit plasma. They seem to be a very common thing, plasma or poisonous goo or what have you. They're a really common thing throughout the video game world, and I don't like them ever.
You've never been around a spitting snake, have you?
No. I'm from the Northeast. We don't do snakes or any other indigenous. Well, we have rattlesnakes, but generally speaking, we don't do really indigenous, dangerous flora and fauna.
This is the most insulting thing ever that Gatatog is doing.
Yeah.
It just okay, let's give you a title,
Well,
but no actual rights.
here's the thing. In Next Generation, Michael Dorn's Worf spent years basically being a punching bag. And that's what's about to happen right now. He once again is going to get humiliated.
Look, Grunt is transitioning right now.
Yes.
From Rocky Maivia.
Yes. To the Rock.
To the Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now we are clearly in the Nation of Domination phase.
Oh, somebody's about to get dominated. I wish it was me.
We're about ready to drop the people's elbow on this clown.
Indeed. I think he is about to experience a
significant emotional event.
Indeed, yes, that's where I was at. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to rethink his life for about a second before it ends.
If I know Grunt, your answer's coming at muzzle velocity.
Indeed.
You do know Grunt.
Ooh!
Ooh! And he drops the people's elbow!
Spear! Out of nowhere! Actually, it didn't come out of nowhere. We kind of knew that was coming. There's no out of
Wait,
nowhere
is he
on
the
that
Rock or is he Edge?
one.
Excuse me, Cope. We gotta call him Cope now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, people change their name in wrestling.
Oh yeah, we could, especially when you switch promotions.
Exactly. So here we have...
But then again, it's only WWE who insists that you don't use your actual name. Why? Because we want to own it.
Well, I think that with this kind of fight coming after the giantest Thresher Maw ever, it's kind of a letdown, really.
Look, we've been equating the Krogan to Jews this entire time, which is silly. That's Aquarians, but
Facts.
I mean, this is stepping on the glass at the end of the wedding. This is this is the indication that the ceremony is over. Let the drinking and the festivities begin.
No, I get you now. Yeah. No, I get you.
Haha, Mazel tov! It's a boy.
Lovely. And what quads? And now we got to steal all the stuff because it's a role-playing game. There's stuff, you got to steal it.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
Look at that swagger.
Yeah. That's
That is the swagger of a boy who became a man.
That's right. Somebody cast tungsten's quads on that guy. And he was strong enough to lift them. And he left a boy, and he came back a cabin man. For those of you that get that joke.
These pipes are clean!
Yeah. Like 6 people saw that movie.
Hey, mister, you want to buy a monkey?
which is honestly more people that have seen anything that I've been in, so I can't complain.
Well, when 4 of those people are me, my wife, and my kids.
It's true. It's true.
Look, I can't talk. We're about to break in the 100 digits. We find some people in your social circle who wanna just give me a reach around.
Everybody in the 100 people are my social circle.
Shit.
I mean, I don't have a.
Now that we've gotten to the rabbi, let's go to the village elder.
Indeed. There's my man.
Next thing he'll tell me he's into craps dark matter.
Hey, look, my man's a king.
He stares at me, and I stare at him.
Oh, R. Kelly. Yeah.
Good to see you, Rex.
So yeah, we have our parting words to Rex, and he's all like, "God damn, you have no idea how much I want to just walk away from all this bullshit."
I have no idea how much I want you to walk with me, Rex. But you are a man of responsibilities, and so you do not.
So anyway, we're done with the mission, and we go back to the Normandy, and Grunt's kind of like, yes, awesome. We also got him some new armor.
Which is cool. It means nothing because the armor changes in this game are essentially meaningless, but it looks cool.
Yeah, the point is that we got it to him as a coming out present. So.
Indeed. That is his I am now a man look.
Mm-hmm.
What I am. It's just delayed because of being tank
So
bred.
anyway,
Now that I know it's not
it is this on an anthropological scale. This is so fascinating that it is this. You go and you do a thing that does nothing more than establish a sense of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Establish a sense of I have earned this for.
Yep.
And yet that's all it took. There's this great line of, "This didn't change my desire to kill, it just told me what to kill."
Exactly.
Um,
I, and like I said, it's a straightforward, honest. There's no kind of weirdness to it. I kind of enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites.
so, Grunt is Grunt's my favorite Krogan just because he's so youthful. I mean, Rex has the best writing of literally any character, but Grunt is just powerful. So as a coming of age story sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So, but that's all we. I think that's all we got to say to it. Like the man says, let's find something to kill, right?
Absolutely.
Just checking in.
There's one thing I love. It's something to kill.
So, until next time, kids. We'll see ya.
Deuces.
Now.
Clan Erdnot has increased in strength after the destruction of Clan Werlock. In addition, killing the Thresher Maw has produced several breeding requests for Grunt and one for Shepard.
Ah!